It's August 13th, 3 days after Michael Brown was shot dead by a white cop in Ferguson, Missouri. He was walking down the street with his friend Dorian Johnson, doing nothing but walking down the street. And this cop, for no reason whatsoever, no provocation, just came up to them and grabbed Michael Brown by the throat and grabbed his pistol out of his holster and shot him dead. First-degree murder. He is now getting a paycheck on leave. Well, if anybody thinks there's ever going to be justice in this case, they're just complete imbeciles. Because justice in this case, right this minute, would require the FBI, under the direction of Eric Holder, the Attorney General, under the direction of President Obama, both black, should be directed down to Ferguson and find out who this cop is, put the cuffs on him, and lock him up in a federal joint and charge him with first-degree murder. Period. That's all there is to it. There's no question about who did it. There's no issue about, whether they have the right guy or not, okay? They know exactly who did it. They know there was absolutely no reason for it. None whatsoever. Is it racial? Probably. What else could it be? The white cop just shoots down a black guy walking down the street with his friend. What other possible reason could exist? So here we are on a never-ending treadmill of racism. Now we have the news media who doesn't understand. Here are these people on the news getting paid millions to report news. And what do? I'm watching Sharpton because Sharpton, he's going to really follow this more than anybody. I've watched it on CNN, okay? But Sharpton focuses on, let's see, what clothes were they wearing, or does the media now going to show them with gold teeth or gold chains or hoodies or whatever the hell they do, okay, to make it appear that because they're black men, young men, they're just dangerous people. And whether or not anybody wrestled over this gun. Would you wrestle over a gun with a cop when he pulled a gun on you? Would you do that? No, of course not. Nobody would, okay? So they took off running after the first shot, and then the cop just kept shooting until the kid was dead. Now, that's how we start this whole deal off. We're going to put this cop on a paycheck and hide his name. Okay? That's how justice is actually. Anybody that could actually believe there could ever be justice is just an imbecile. That includes everybody in this country. The entire United States of America are just a pack of imbeciles that are in a dead trance, told what to do and what to think by the media, by whether it's Al Sharpton, who claims he's interested in justice. Al Sharpton is nothing but a shill for the Democratic Party, period, okay? That's it. He doesn't have a clue about justice. And for instance, I was down there at 145th Street at Al Sharpton's headquarters, and it was on Maya Angelou's, after she died, the day after she died, they were paying respects for Maya Angelou, great poet, and Al Sharpton wanted these people that he has there, that after he shakes them down for whatever few bucks they might have, he's making millions on MSNBC. Okay? He doesn't need a nickel from any of these people. But he doesn't care. Okay? He's just going to take whatever he can grab. And now he's going to tell these people they should actually go to 125th Street in front of the Apollo Theater and lay in the street. And that's going to get justice? How ridiculous and stupid could you possibly be? Now, I went to Sharpton because he hosts this show, and he has these people he claims are experts, and they're all lawyers talking about Trayvon Martin and how Zimmerman wound up getting acquitted because he used the stand your ground defense. Absolutely 100% wrong. There was never 1 second where they talked about stand your ground in that whole trial, which I watched every minute of on my computer. So I wasn't interrupted by any of the commercials on HLN, you see. And this is what I do. I'm an investigator. I understand crime. I understand the criminal justice system because I've been involved with the criminal justice system, and I mean deeply, for decades. And I wrote this book to try to explain it and expose the absolute fraud that we have running the court system in this country. I'm talking about the United States Supreme Court right on down to the circuit courts, to the district courts, to the Attorney General, to the U.S. attorneys, the whole schmear, including the Congress of the United States, okay? Including and especially the media that covers up spectacular crimes and dwells on bullshit, okay? To completely propagandize the entire country so that nobody will really know anything. And that's why I wrote this book, because I realized that I personally had been totally brainwashed in a trance and believed that the Supreme Court of the United States was really on the up and up. And that is a complete fraud and a lie that I found out the hard way. Okay, not from a book. It's not, what I found out isn't going to be in any law school. Okay, so if you really want to know, buy the book on Amazon and read it, and then you'll know what the hell's going on here. You see, so in order to get justice in the United States of America, the first thing we have to do is replace the entire government, and I'm talking about all the Republicans and Democrats with a third party. That's the only possible way. And believe me, that would not be hard to do. Why? Because people are pissed, okay? But the problem is that the media just keeps on drilling into everybody's head that if you don't vote for a Republican or a Democrat, that your vote is a waste. And people believe that. So that even though 40-some% of registered voters in this country have changed their registration to independent, they all vote Republican and Democrat anyway. So the whole thing is just a sham. So why bother registering as an independent if you're always going to vote for a Republican or a Democrat anyway? Now, this government, the entire government, from Obama right on down, are taking bribes. And the bribes are keeping these crooks out of prison. That's number one. It's giving them all kinds of tax deals, and now they call it inversions, okay? Which is just a slick name for evasion. Tax evasion. Corporation just, oh, we're now in some other country, okay? We're not domiciled in the United States, so we don't pay taxes here. That's how that works, okay? Real slick, right? And the media codifies it by making it appear that, oh, well, it's a tax inversion. So that sounds like it's legit. No, it's not legit. It's a tax evasion, you see. So it goes on with the trade policies that have completely collapsed the unions and completely collapsed the middle class, so that Macy's their sales are going down. Their profits are going down. And the people that shop in Macy's, they don't shop at Walmart's, okay? So it's across the board. The economy is going to continue shrinking as jobs keep going offshore, okay? People just losing their jobs because they're using slave labor in China and Bangladesh. And so they greed, they just keep piling up hundreds of billions of dollars and pulling off all kinds of simple frauds. The mortgage meltdown fraud. Okay, nobody went to prison for the mortgage meltdown fraud. And even though when they put the head of the criminal division in the Justice Department on a frontline show for 1 hour and exposed him for never going after any of these crooks, he quit the next day. Now, don't you think that's news? Of course it's news. But did you hear about it on the news? Hell no. What do you think they talked about for weeks at a clip? It was about this guy. There was the linebacker for Notre Dame, Manti Te'o, had some girlfriend that he didn't know who the hell she was, and turned out to be a fake up. Okay, whoopie-doo. So we spent weeks on end hearing about Manti Te'o, and Katie Couric interviewed him and asked him if he was gay. God, I mean, that's it. Okay, we got to find out if this guy's gay now. That's what Katie Couric thinks is news, and that's what they say people want. They don't have any say in it. They want whatever they want. I have no idea, but they're gonna get what the media feeds them. So they got the right wingers and the left wingers, and they feed the right wingers this crap and the left wingers some other crap, and nobody really knows. Wow, the BP oil spill, that was an accident? No, it wasn't. They didn't use 23 centralizers. They used 6. That's a fraud and a crime. And they spilled oil all over the place. So is that the only time they ever did that? Probably not. And believe me, there's plenty of oil spills nobody ever hears about. And what do they say? Well, we're very careful. We're not going to spill any oil. We're going to build this pipeline, right? Why? Hydrogen would completely solve the climate change problem. Pure, 100%. We could completely stop using oil and coal and nuclear power if we change the whole thing over to hydrogen fuel cells. But of course that's not going to happen, because people are too ignorant to understand what's really going on, which is the Congress is all bribed by oil, coal, and nuclear power, and so that's all they talk about. And they talk about solar and wind. Well, that's nice. Solar and wind is nice, but it's sporadic. But if they use the electricity generated by the sun, the free power from the sun and the wind, free, right? And generated hydrogen, do you think the oil companies could actually produce and use oil cheaper when they have to drill for the oil than using free water just flowing down the river into the ocean? Using an electrolysis generated electricity from wind and sun, and that's going to cost more? What are you, crazy? Are you just plain stupid? So what do they have? They have these big subsidies that the hydrogen has to compete against, okay? Saying, well, it's too expensive. No, it's not, okay? Cut the subsidies out and let everybody start from dead scratch, and you'll see. But that's not going to happen. Do you understand? Because the people in this country are too ignorant and brainwashed to understand what's going on, and they don't want to admit that they're too arrogant. People in this country are too arrogant to ever admit, gee, they didn't know that. They might learn something. They know it all. They can't learn anything. They know it all. Okay? So that's where we're at in the U.S. of A. Going down a drain, having stuff like Michael Brown murdered in the street, and this cop is getting a paycheck, okay? How about that? And the feds could just go down there and pick his ass up and charge him with a first-degree murder. And goodbye, officer, whoever the hell you are. Okay? That's where we're at right now. Bye-bye.